On June 5th, 1983, I was born. And on this day, I was 11 pounds, 6 ounces. I was a big baby. Usually when I tell people this, I joke around and say, well, the other babies got the same size shirt as I did in the hospital, but on them it was a nightgown, and on me it was a small muscle shirt. I came into this world just as most people did. I was contrived with a world of belief and mystery that couldn't be, or shouldn't be, questioned or explained. In this world, I was told that people such as God, Jesus, Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, as well as many others, were very much real and were very much destined to change the outcome of my future. I grew up in a typical moderate Christian home. I believed in God and all His omnipotent power that He beheld. I grew up amazed and awe for His power, but also afraid of His damnation for those who didn't follow. I grew scared of God, more so than heartfelt by Him and His presence. I prayed to God on most days, asking for His presence in my life, and I denied Satan many other times. God never seemed to answer, but I shrugged it off and answered Him myself for what I thought was right or what I thought He wanted me to do. I went to church pretty often. I also went to church camp many times, and even private Christian school for a while because my mother wanted me to follow Jesus and go to heaven. I followed God and His Word and tried to do my best to please a man who never actually presented himself to me, even though I fully, heartily accepted Him. I don't know how, but I had this image of God in my mind that He would do anything He wanted and would stop any non-believer or skeptic of His power in this world. I thought that the Holy Bible could not be touched since it was the Word of God. I saw it as the Holy Grail of life and truth. To me, I thought the Holy Bible could not be burned because God would not allow it to be burned. I was more terrified of God than more loved by Him, no matter how much I tried to accept Him in my life and in my heart over all the other bad in this world. One day I had a small Bible that was handed to me after class in public school. I took it home and I stared at it for a couple of hours. I gained up enough nerve to take a lighter to it. I burned it. It burned and I watched it burn while expecting it not to. I was more terrified than ever and expecting to be struck dead at any moment. Then an epiphany came over me as strong as the truth has ever hit me before. If God has no power over me burning this Bible, then does God even exist at all? I began to question God in the Bible. I didn't disbelieve, but I felt that I was merely given the power to at least question the truth. I asked many people, including people at my church, and was usually told the same answer. Stop asking questions, just believe. I didn't understand. How could I? I was only 13 years old. I was thinking outside of a box that was put around my mind from birth. After many years, I stopped going to church and I started to think on my own and started finding evidence of the real world that I lived in. I started to think that God in the Holy Bible wasn't moral enough for me, and many other things that seemed to fall into place more obviously while thinking outside of this box. I gave up on those belief systems after a while, but I had always felt alone and that no one else thought the same way that I did. I saw everyone else as delusional for believing in things without proof or evidence. I thought maybe that I was the one who was delusional. I searched online a couple of years ago looking for others who thought the same way that I did, but I failed to find anything. I had never heard of the word atheist. I was sheltered from that world of thinking. Until recently, I did some research on YouTube and discovered videos of others who thought exactly the same way that I did. And from that point on, I realized that there is no reason to believe in God. There is so much more beauty in this world, and that all living things are so much more precious and amazing than a simple flicker of a magical invisible man of imagination. God didn't create man. Man created God. And in so many ways, that is so much more amazing and beautiful. I, Aaron Hopkins, choose a world of love of my fellow man and woman, and of all other life than a love of something unknown.